We're off. Here we are. We're here. We're queer. Welcome to the new segment, part of Three Opinions at the Bar. This is Hadles Happy Hour, baby. All right. I want to say welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. And this is going to either go extremely well or extremely terrible. If it goes terrible, that's actually a good thing because that's all people like the news, just like fucking car crashes. They don't want anything like sincerely good. So anyways, without getting too deep, let's start off the late night happy hour show. Grab a beverage, crack open a beer, make a cocktail, make a fucking Manhattan, make a White Russian if you're feeling like being the dude. Let's get into it, all right? So, Italy's been in the news lately. You heard this? They've been in the news now, because they got a hot prime minister for an old hag. And the Italian national team has a massive World Cup qualifier coming up. I don't know if you heard about this. They just beat Northern Ireland. Okay, they should. That's a fucking give me right there. But here's the thing. If they don't make it, okay, it'll be devastating because Italy hasn't even appeared in a World Cup in 12 years. Italy, the 4-time World Cup champion team. God, they've won the World Cup 4 times. And I think they've won the Euro Cup 2 or 3 times. Check me on that. I just hit my head in the chair. So, I don't know if you heard this, but they've been slacking off. They've been choking. They haven't made in 12 years. And rumor has it the men of Italy have been too busy pouring grease and olive oil down the drains to keep the plumbing industry alive. Giving Mr. Mario and Luigi some extra hours, bigger paycheck. Keep the Italian plumbing industry alive. You like that? Let's hop over next door to France. France is exactly the kind of country where the phrase First Lady starts sounding more like a suggestion than a title. So France, I guess, I don't know if you heard this in the news, so the Prime Minister of France or the President of France is dating a she-male. That's right. Big honker between those legs. France has always been kind of known for their bizarre sexuality, the hairy armpits, the no deodorant, the wine, the cigarettes, and a complete refusal to behave like a serious civilization, really. Even their government sounds like it needs a larger drawing room just to accommodate all their theatrical sword fighting or baguette fighting. Zing. This isn't a country, but it might as well be one. How about the shithole that we're staying over in? Yours truly, Three Opinions at the Bar, Hadles, and Dirk and the Carpenter were staying in a little place called California. It's always in the news because California is basically what happens when vanity, anxiety, and good weather sign a lease together. Sounds like it might work, but every week it's either on fire or drowning in homelessness or lecturing the rest of America while surviving entirely on injecting their face with botulism. Tacos, that's our main fuel. Men named Jorge doing drywall and roofing. We wouldn't survive without him. You ever seen a Day Without a Mexican? Just might be true. So everybody else is apparently a consultant, a visionary, or between creative projects. That's kind of how this place works. I think that's why they're pushing AI, actually. It's just, they're going to push it so much to where there's, what do they call it? The universal wealth income. So everyone's reasonably wealthy enough to pursue all of their pipe dreams. So everyone said there's going to be a revisit to the Renaissance times. That might be interesting. I don't know. That'd be sick. I mean, if I were So maybe that's kind of what bothers me the most about modern life, kind of, is that not that people are flawed, but that they work so hard to look flawless. California is the epitome of this. Everybody's selling an image. I think New York's the same way in a sense, but I live in California, so I can only really attest to that. Everybody's managing perception. Everybody's rehearsing virtue in public. And once you notice that, you start looking at it little. You just look at it differently. You look at it differently as a man who might seem polished, too moral, too admired, too rehearsed. So start to notice it once you see these things. Start to notice that they start to look a little differently when you're like, what's going on with this guy? Why the fuck is he so chiseled in all the right places? I don't mean by physique, but everything else about him, his aura, his energy. And why does he make me feel off-putting? Well, that brings me to tonight's monologue, and thanks again for being here. Happy Hour with Hadles. Let's talk about the perfect man, shall we? You ever meet one of these guys? Got the sharp haircut, firm hands, says all the right things, smiles like he was focus group tested. He's at charity events, school functions, community gatherings, shaking hands, kissing babies, helping old ladies across the street like he's running for mayor of a town that doesn't even exist. And everyone goes, wow, what a great guy. They hear about him. He's the talk of the party. And you're like, oh, yeah. And he wants to tell his story more than once. He wants to relive these events that he has. It doesn't get enough of himself, right? And you know what? Great guy. Maybe he is. I'm just saying, be careful. Because the perfect man does not exist. Human beings are more complicated than that. We're vain, insecure, impulsive, self-deceiving creatures who occasionally stumble into wisdom after enough embarrassment. So when I see a man who appears to have no flaws whatsoever, no contradiction, no rough edges,